All right guys, welcome to today's video. Thanks for sticking around. Today is going to be an update video on the wagon. I'm going to be showing you some of the stuff I've done to it for the past 3 weeks of driving it. I got it through emissions, I got it registered, I got it VIN verified, which was a whole nightmare. But since then I put a bunch of the interior back together. I got the heat working, I got the Euro cluster with the right mileage, put some BC coilovers on it, got some AC Schnitzer Type 1s, and all around been loving the way it's been driving. It's been about 3 weeks of daily driving it, sorting out the kinks, getting all the little stuff sorted, and I'm actually really happy with how it's come just in the short 3 weeks. It's a great daily driver. I wasn't really expecting much with this 2-liter, but I get over 400 miles to the tank, which is actually great. I mean, yeah, it's slow, but honestly, I love it. It's great. So with me today with the wagon, I have my daily driver OBD1 E36 and my backup drift car, which is a 97 OBD2 328. And because this wagon's a 97, there's a bunch of things that I've noticed from driving it that are different, especially because it's a European car. It's got all these cool European options, which I'm going to show you. Things that are different, things that are missing completely. But I'm going to show you a bunch of different things that I've noticed, and then kind of compare between how I can tell like this car is OBD1 and show you the things that are missing on that car. And I don't know, I think this is really cool. That's the first European car, like actual European car that I've had imported to the States. So I can actually do that comparison between having a Euro model car with all the US model cars that I've had over the years. All right, so I love this car off the bat. It's been such a good driver to me. And first we're just gonna go over some of the things that I've done to it in the past 3 weeks. In the last video you guys saw, this thing was in pieces. It came to me missing X, Y, and Z. It didn't run and you know, all this other stuff. Luckily we got it running in that video, but I didn't show you anything else. So just on the outside, you can see that I got side skirts from Zach West's convertible part out, which happened to be Arctic Silver. So just putting these on made the car, you know, look a lot newer and a lot nicer. I was able to cover up that one little rust spot on the fender on the other side. And then I put BC coilovers on it. I put 8K front spring and 10K rear spring. And then I got these really nice AC Schnitzer Type 1s that I got from a guy in Maine who also imported them from Germany. He's had them in his basement for like the past 10 years. He put them up on Marketplace and you know, I made it happen. My buddy Tommy, shout out to him, he went and picked them up for me up in Maine. And then my buddy Jordan, who you guys met a couple videos ago, he actually brought them down to me. So it was really nice to get them delivered. But as far as exterior differences, all I've really done is the coilovers, the wheels, the side skirts, and I put an exhaust on it, which I'll talk about later. All right, so as far as exterior differences, that's really all I've done, and it doesn't really need much more. It needs a little paint correction, but I'll show you guys. Hey Jeff, can you come and pop the hood for me real quick? As you guys saw in the last video, I got the intake manifold on, but it was still missing pretty much everything else. It was missing the beauty covers, it was missing the cowl. Yeah, I kind of took stuff off my shelf, put it all together, and now it all looks nice. Got the factory intake, you got the whole cowl system with all the grommets and the gaskets. I had a Racing Dynamics strut bar that was on my shelf. This was just kind of hanging up there, so I decided to put that on. One thing, like after I was done wrapping it up in here, one thing I did notice is that the Euro models come with this big washer fluid reservoir, which I think is larger sized to spray the front and the rear. There's supposed to be a little pump down in here, but because it's a base model, it didn't come with the washers, the sprayers for the headlights. Other things about the base model is it doesn't have a sunroof and it has the base model seats. So one other thing is this car is OBD1. Jeff actually figured out when we were battling to figure out why I couldn't get OBD2 parts to work and there's no OBD port.
And no check engine light.
And no check engine light. That was the biggest thing.
That's a first for a Beamer.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to get it through VIN verification and there's no check engine light. So I know in the States, if there's no check engine light, you fail emissions, you fail VIN verification. So after doing some digging, he found out that any E36 produced in Europe from 91 to 99 is OBD1. That was one thing that I didn't know that I learned, and I'm actually pretty shocked. So after I learned that, I started digging a little bit more to see some of the differences. All right, so while I was in here and learned that it was OBD1, I actually figured out a bunch of differences that you can tell that it's a Euro model and it's OBD1, and I'm gonna show you those. That's what these other cars are here for. So we're gonna pop the hoods, and I'm gonna start showing you the differences between the two of these. Way to go.
I don't know where it is. Cut that audio out for me?
Wants to open hood, doesn't know how to.
I don't know how, dude.
All right, so first things first. You can tell, so there's no emissions crap on the Euro car. We don't have a secondary air pump. We don't have an EGR valve. We just have straight headers with nothing extra going on here. Another thing you can tell is that the placement of the B+ terminal is exactly where it would be for an OBD1 car. Even though we have the OBD2 engine, the updated, smaller intake manifold, plastic housing, this is definitely an M52. The other thing you're missing is the third round plug back here, which normally does all the OBD stuff. But if you come over here, I'll show you. So this car is OBD1, and this car also has the same location of the B+ terminal, no secondary air pump, and no EGR valve. And when you come over here, there's only 2 round plugs. This is all OBD1. So on a typical 97, which is what this car is, especially in America, these are the differences that you notice right off the bat. We have to deal with emissions crap.
Garbage.
More garbage.
Garbage.
EGR valve, secondary air pump. We have the sideways location of the B+ terminal. We have the round plug for the OBD port over here. And that car has none of those things at all. Just some kind of cool, subtle differences. I know that this is actually a drift car, so it's missing some things, but you can tell some of the differences right off the bat in the engine bay. All right, so one other thing I noticed is that the headlights work completely differently in Europe than they do in the US. I have Jeff on standby who's gonna operate some of the lights for me, but probably one of my favorite features is the city light, or like the daytime running light. Jeff, you wanna turn that on real quick? So when you turn on the headlights, or the first click, in America, you'd normally have the side light illuminated as a running light, and that's it. But in Europe, the plug for the blinker only has 2 pins, so it doesn't turn on unless the blinker is activated. Otherwise, it just stays off, and that's what the city light's for. I don't know if you can see it from where you are, but the light is on. This is just the daytime running light. This is always on. So if you hit the hazards there, they blink. But they only blink. These don't come on and these do. So when you turn the headlights on completely, the only thing you have is the actual headlight and the city light. There's no running light on the side. And the fact that the back side of the wiring, where it all is completely different. It's actually really nice. When you buy those aftermarket halo lights, they have those 4 pins on the back, but you have to completely rewire your headlights because you have individual sockets for each light. This car doesn't have that. It's got a single round plug on the back, which works perfectly with these headlights. This is the plug that we all wish we had factory on our car, is this round guy. So this screws right onto here and kind of activates everything. And then the thing below it is actually an even cooler option. So I'm pretty sure, I'm not exactly sure, but this 3-wire plug here that goes on the bottom helps with headlight tilt. This thing right here, there's a little motor in there, and I'll show you guys on the inside right now. So when this is a cool European option. Right here, there's this little dial, and you can raise and lower the tilt of the headlight from inside the car. On every US model I've ever had, there's been nothing here. This has been a blank spot. There's the cluster illumination brightness. But this headlight tilt is really cool. that's pretty much it for exterior differences. So since I got the car running, I actually didn't even realize, but I put these door panels on the front. I got these nice 98 airbag door panels for a very good deal. The speakers aren't hooked up yet because I was running into some radio issues, but I was able to get the interior pretty much all back together. So one of the things that I really wanted to get on were the car was missing door panels completely. So I had a set of black sedan door panels that were mint, and I got the fronts on with no issues at all. These are perfect, but I came into a problem with the rear doors. I thought it was going to be the same, but these rear doors are completely different. I'll show you guys right here. This is a normal sedan rear door panel. And normally this would fit on perfectly right here. Like all the mounting points line up great. But right here, you can see that the sedan door panel is too long. It needs to cut off right about here. So this is really the only difference between wagon and sedan door panels. And because these are crank windows, the location of the crank is kind of over here and off-centered from where the switch would be. So you can see the switch indent here. So even if I were to use these and cut them, I'd still have a big hole right here for a switch, and I would have to drill a hole here for the crank window. So I'm kind of on the fence of pulling the trigger and retrofitting electric windows for the back, pulling out the crank stuff. It should be the same as a sedan as far as the regulator. So I'll put a power regulator back in there, put a power regulator on the other side, chop this off, and just make it be, power window. I don't think I'm going to be able to find a manual wagon door panel that's the right size in America without spending a bunch of money. If this works, then it's a cheap, easy way to do it. I just got to make it look good. All right, so as you can see, it looks like a car now. In the last video, this was all missing. I got a radio working, I got a center vent, the heat flap works now, the HVAC all works, so actually I'll turn it on now. This is it's a functioning car again. I got a Euro cluster with the right mileage in here. And then as you can see, there's no check engine light at all. So like when I key off and I key back on, probably my favorite feature is the front and the rear fog light. So the top button over here is the regular fog light, the green one that we all know and love, but being able to see the rear fog light button turn on is something special. It seems kind of dumb, but driving these US E36s all my life, I've never been able to see that in action. So yeah, these rear fog lights are really nothing special, but that's it. The running lights on the inside, which is kind of different, and the brake lights on the outside, but that is the rear fog light. You only get one. This side doesn't illuminate. The other thing I did to the car, actually, was put a full M3 exhaust on it. These 320i's and the 323s come with a single pipe exhaust that's from the header all the way back. So I put on a true dual mid pipe from an M3 and this dual pipe vibrant cat back with the DTM tips, and I think it sounds great. I'm going to start it up for you right now. It's a way nicer tone than what came from the factory.
Great tone, and the upswept looks great.
I'll give it a little rev for you guys.
Hey, give me a couple toots. Still cold.
She's still cold, I know. She can handle it.
Yeah. 2 liters of Fury.
Oh, it's funny. It definitely smells like a 2-stroke.
You can smell it, dude.
It smells rich as heck. But yeah, I love driving this thing so far. Just a few tweaks. I made it my own. Made it look pretty good. Made it sound better. It flows a little bit nicer. And now that I have the luxuries of the interior, the radio, the heat, a working cluster with the right mileage, that was really hard to come by. Honestly, I couldn't be happier with it. I'm really excited to see where this thing goes just in the following months. But even as of right now, it makes a great daily driver the way it is. All right, guys, so that's pretty much all the updates we got for the wagon today. Thanks for staying in and checking out some of the other cars, showing you some of the differences between the Euro models and the US models. Some of the upgrades that I've done just in the past 3 weeks of owning this thing, but You know, it's a driving car, so we're gonna get out there and we're gonna go take a cruise. I'll see you guys in the next one.